I think another thing that's maybe affecting a lot of people at this time is sleep. And obviously sleep is so important to helping us feel, stress-free, healthy, energized. I think some people might be feeling, if they're not being as active, it's maybe harder to get to sleep, or they're maybe feeling stressed so that it's harder to get to sleep. How do you think we can ensure that we're getting enough sleep during this time?
Yeah, I think, I think routine is key. And we don't need to live and die by the routine by any means, but don't try really hard not to get into a habit of, going to bed at midnight or 1 a.m. because you can still be at your desk by 9 o'clock because you're not doing that morning commute.
Yeah.
You're just getting your body completely out of sync to what it's really used to. So the guidance for adults is that we need between 7 and 9 hours of sleep a night. And if you can, really try to go to bed at the same time and then get up at the same time. Not, again, just within reason. So not lying in bed, until lunchtime or something, because that will start to affect your energy.
Yeah.
And in terms of the importance of sleep and how to help yourself get to sleep, like you've talked about, maybe we're not as tired as we normally would be. As part of that routine, maybe think about things that can help. So whether you do exercise in the morning and then try and do a bit of different exercise in the evening, or if exercise isn't your thing and dancing is, there's so many online free tools of dancing as well that you could try. Avoid blue light. So, often the last thing we do at night is we check our phones, or we might check the news again. If that news is causing you a bit of anxiety and for your mind to overthink all the time, well, those are the last thoughts you're leaving yourself with before going to sleep. But actually, not just that, but the blue light from devices really does affect the wavelengths and our melatonin. So it will disrupt and affect that. It can also affect the quality of sleep that we're getting.
Yeah, and I think as well, this is probably a terrible thing to admit, but I seem to be having quite a few more glasses of wine than I usually.
But, I'm exactly the same. I'm completely the same. And I think, so yes, caffeine and alcohol does, being quite, transparent, it does affect the quality of your sleep. And like you've already said, it affects, you've already found yourself, the quality of sleep you're getting up and you're not feeling great. Yeah, so there's two things I'm doing. I am drinking more gin and wine, but I'm also, as a comfort, reaching for the Lindt chocolate eggs that seem to be appearing in our cupboard. But actually also it's about cutting myself some slack and saying it's okay. It is okay. We aren't, we're all having different demands of different types on us, or we've got different concerns. And, yes, we should be, reaching for that piece of fruit, and let's try, but, also let's cut ourselves some slack as well.
How are you kind of making sure that you're tired, essentially? Are you being more active than you normally would? Is it less? It's kind of interesting.
For me it's very different. So I am trying to run this business. My husband's got a very full-on job, and I have a toddler and a 9-year-old at home. So honestly, I'm more tired now than I would never ever normally be, because I work full-time on Life Armour. So now I'm trying to do work on Life Armour and homeschool and entertain a toddler. So I'm pretty wiped out. There's a couple of other people that work with me have said that they're on their own self-isolating, and they start the day with a HIIT and a class, so something really highly active, and then they might do Pilates or yoga. And we're not talking about like a whole hour's class. Our gym actually has just put some online classes on that are 15-minute workouts.
Yeah.
So I think that helps. Or try and busy the mind as well. This is such an opportunity for people, to do something that they've wanted to do, or to look at different things. It is unsettling, but what can you do to make the most of it? There are so many free online resources now, because people aren't trying to profiteer from this situation. They're trying to support. So just have a look out there and try different things.
I feel like I'm probably in a much calmer situation than you, Marishka, but for some people it's, maybe they might be feeling that they've got all this time on their hands, and they, are not wasting it. But it's very tempting to just be like, oh, we'll let the next episode on Netflix roll over. But actually you could read a book for 20 minutes and that would, spark something in your mind. You'd be learning something, and that would maybe tire you out more than just sitting on the sofa, for example. Just before sleep, whether we're super exhausted from maybe your situation, or your mind is still quite alert because you've not tired yourself out quite so much, what sort of things could we do just immediately before sleep?
Try and make sure that the space is as clear as possible. So try not to sleep in clutter, because that's not great. Make sure that the room is dark as well, so that really helps you with the dark light, and the body knowing that it is nighttime. And then I haven't got around to it yet, but one of the things I'm going to do is download the Calm app. So people have told me that there's some wonderful bedtime stories on there. So if you do find that the mind's wandering, I think it's great to be able to listen to something that, again, like you were saying, Karen, you would not normally do that, or do some breathing as well. That can really help. So there are different things, and I think you've got to look at maybe what the triggers are, like you've already identified. So alcohol is a trigger for you that's leading to not great sleep, and maybe it's not cutting out alcohol, but it's just having one or two less glasses or something. So it's just trying to see what what leads you to having those concerns, and then what you can do to fix that. I think reading is a brilliant one in bed. How often do we really do that? Lots of us literally just crash out at the end of a busy day. So now there could be an opportunity to just, read some of those books, or just discover reading if you haven't read for a long time. Discover going back to the joy of, escaping in a book.
You do also have a product for sleep, so maybe we could talk about that.
Yeah, so if you are having problems sleeping, we've got our Drops of Slumber, which again is another liquid supplement that helps calm an overactive mind, and it helps ease you into a long and restorative sleep. So it's got 100% natural ingredients in there, exactly the same with Drops of Balance. You just pop it under your tongue and you swallow it before bed, or dilute it in a bit of water. Quite a lot of people, our users, have come back saying that actually they don't have a problem getting off to sleep, but they'll wake up in the middle of the night with that, never-ending to-do list or some concerns. And actually, they take that in the middle of the night, and it just very quickly calms the mind down, and there's no lavender spraying or anything like that around you, and that works for lots of people. It's literally it's a 100% natural supplement, and it's non-habit forming and non-addictive as well, so it's very gentle but gets to work very quickly.
Does it have a taste? Is it?
Yeah, so actually what's really interesting is quite often these things can not taste great. They can taste quite medicinal, but we worked really hard with our scientists, and we've popped it in a glycerin base, which has a natural sweetness to it. And then we've added the tiniest touch of peppermint, because we want it to be enjoyable. We don't want you to dread taking it. So actually quite often the response is, wow, that tastes really good. I wasn't expecting that. And if it's a little bit too much for you, just dilute it in a tiny little bit of water, and that's also absolutely fine as well.
There's a blog over at blommabeauty.com all about adaptogens if you want to learn more, and obviously all of Marishka's products from the Life Armour nutrition range. And as well, we will be offering a 15% discount on the entire range with the code LifeArmour15. So if you do need a little extra help through this time, then you know that there's products out there at hopefully an affordable price for you that you can